So
With a question mark.
with a question mark.
Is there a changing of the guard? Perhaps is the
Exactly. So the question is, are we changing the guard?
I think there are certain dimensions in which we are.
Yeah.
One is that Father Time kills off older generations and hands the baton to the younger. So in that respect, I think we're inevitably changing. The recent experience and the continuing experience with emerging economies relative to the developed economies suggests to me there's been a very profound balance of power shift.
Yeah.
I would also say that within economics itself, the mechanistic obsession with modeling statistics is giving way to a more textured, more institutional, historical approach that has better, what you might call human qualities, and less, what you might call false precision.
Yeah.
And so I think there's an intellectual changing in the guard.
Yeah.
And finally, I would say, also within the realm of economic ideology, the simplistic model that the markets exist and that politics and government are distinct and separate is giving way to a more organic sensibility about political economy.
Yeah.
And the integration of state and markets, incentives, and the relationship of government, whether rules are enforced or not, whether they're enforced on the powerful or just on the weak, all of these questions now can be addressed with a little more vigor. And so there's a changing of the guard towards a reaffirmation of political economy.
Very interesting. And what is an important truth or something you believe that you think very few people agree with you on?
Very few people
And it
agree
could be
with me.
society or
Yes,
within
very few people agree with me on the limitations of democracy. I believe much more like Frank Knight, the original skeptic at the University of Chicago. People are quite vulnerable to manipulation, propagandistic techniques, and things of this nature. That people are very, how do you say, electoral systems that depend on campaigns can be distorted, whether it's by money, plutocracy, and as they talk about the United States. People don't disagree with me about that part, but they disagree with me about the capacities of a large body politic to make decisions that are farsighted. Or, there's a romance, particularly on the left, about democracy that I don't quite share. And it makes it hard because you get these very hopeful people, and liberal end of the spectrum. They always kind of make it more democratic, make it more democratic. I once teased a guy about the Federal Reserve. I said, "Do you think we all ought to go on the internet and vote on what to do with the federal funds rate every 6 weeks?
Exactly.
Or do you want to delegate it to 12 people that know a little bit more about it?" So I think I would like to see equality, but I don't know that democracy would produce equality. I guess the final thing I would say is that I don't think people disagree with me, but they have not examined the tension between large-scale enterprise as efficient on a cost basis and therefore justified as the most competitive in the economy, and the implication of those large institutions juxtaposed against people in political context where they have resources, PR, they can resort to propaganda, lobbying, and things. And so the large corporate world can disenfranchise the individual, and that creates a very awkward distortion of politics. And I don't know that many people dwell on it. I don't know if they disagree with me once they think about it. It's a different concern of mine, probably because I work in government.
Yeah. And do you think there's a question that nobody's asking, or do you think there's an issue, an idea that needs to have more attention that right now people are ignoring?
What do you do when you have no idea what the future looks like with financial regulation? In other words, there's no stable anchor from equilibrium in the future. There's no way of understanding what structure will be. There's what you might call radical uncertainty. And how do people behave when there's no anchor? I think this is very important to the design of financial institutions, financial systems, what role things like central banks play as the lender of last resort. All of these things are drawn, which you might call, into a different focus and find a future to anchor the statement.
And is there any topic or issue that is really on your mind at the moment? That is, you think that's going to be important in 10
I'm
years?
worried about what kind of dinner these guests are going to have.
Exactly.
What's on my mind at the moment? What's on my mind at the moment is that, this is kind of a new thought of mine. I think that people have a yearning for order. They want to understand what the rules are. They want to understand how to deploy their energies. And what happens in a society that is unfair is demoralization. But what happens in a society where nobody understands the rules raises anxiety, and if the anxiety persists, it allows legitimacy to authoritarian behavior. And I think that this is a very dangerous time of transition and dysfunction that's been prolonged, where trust is broken down in governance. Governance is not up to the task of maintaining a relationship with multinational enterprise and society. Government is, let's say you were Tim Geithner. I'll pick on him because he left office.
Okay.
He's got to get up every morning and convince the world he's in control of something, the world financial market, which he knows he's not in control of. And so the fear that is engendered by chaos is something that is only counteracted by believing in something. And I'm worried about certain times when people don't believe in anything.
That's interesting. So, and on a more personal note, what has been a very transformative experience when you were, when you were as young as we were, or at university, that shaped your life in a tremendous way?
Okay. I think there are a number of things. I alluded to it in my speech today. Writings of Martin Luther King. After growing up in Detroit, Michigan, which was a cauldron, labor management fights, Teamsters and Jimmy Hoffa and UAW, the Vietnam War and race riots, Martin Luther King's inspirational spirit, philosophical, deep awareness impressed me a great deal. Second thing is I grew up in a family of sailors. And when you go offshore, you have no choice but to be humble. Whether it's a thunderstorm or whether it's big seas, you know that God can take your life at any time. And so I think there's a humility that comes from being at sea that marked my approach to life quite profoundly. And I think the sense is that humility is actually a survival tactic when you're at sea. Because if you're really afraid, or if you're boastful, or you act like I'm not scared, you're a fool. And somehow being scared and not being a fool, but working with your fear, I think is a very important lesson.
That's very interesting. Now, lastly, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Music.
Music.
Almost always music. It's the master of all the arts. Sometimes it's lyrical, poetic, sometimes it's just the movement of the sounds. I very much, whether it's music like lyrics of Bob Dylan, or just the saxophone playing of John Coltrane, or Louis Armstrong, or old blues, the defiance that's contained in old blues music is really quite inspiring. So that's, if you say it to me, like, when I'm stirred up and I don't know what I think, I just would try to swim through different types of music to start to realize how it is that I feel. That's my way of working my way out of confusion.
That's great. Thank you so much for the interview.
My pleasure, sir.